The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. China claims Philippine ships were the ones trespassing in the West Philippine Sea on Saturday, prompting the recent water cannon attack. Philippine vessels were on a resupply mission to Ayungin Shoal when Chinese ships started to tail them and fired water cannons at Philippine boats. Ayungin Shoal is within the country's exclusive economic zone in the South China Sea. China has long been coveting nearly the entire area, despite a 2016 arbitral ruling saying otherwise. The Coast Guard and the armed forces have since condemned the attack, describing it as dangerous, excessive, and offensive. Several countries joined the Philippines in condemning China's latest case of apparent harassment. The U.S. says an armed attack on Philippine public vessels should invoke Washington's mutual defense commitments with Manila. Australia describes China's actions as dangerous and destabilizing and reiterates its call for peace in the region. The European Union maintains that it stands with the Philippines and supports the 2016 South China Sea Arbitration Award. Canada also calls on the Chinese government to comply with the arbitral decision on South China Sea, which it says is final and binding. And for Japan, China's actions are totally unacceptable as these infringe lawful activities and endanger navigational safety. Senator Bongo calls on China to stop bullying the Philippines. The senator's remark comes after the China Coast Guard water cannoned the vessel of the Philippine Coast Guard last Saturday. Senator Go condemned the incident, saying then President Rodrigo Duterte has nothing but respectful of China during his term. The senator likewise clarified that the former president's Beijing trip was of a personal nature, amid criticism that Duterte's trip to China did nothing to assert sovereignty over the West Philippine Sea. Go believes the Philippine government must defend its rights to the disputed territory.
Stop bullying us at dapat natin ipaglaban kung ano po yung atin. Ano po yung napanalunan natin, atin po yun. Kahit anong mangyari, lumaban po tayo.
Meanwhile, Senate President Mig Zubiri says the recent incident just shows China's diplomatic duplicity. This by preaching about amity but practicing hostile behavior. Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva calls for a strong stance against China's continued harassment of the Philippine Coast Guard in our own territory. Senator Risa Hontiveros also called out the Chinese Coast Guard, saying it had no right to block or water cannon the country's vessels. Hontiveros says the repeated provocations violate the UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Award. Likewise, Senator Bong Revilla says the recent incident is a direct affront to the country's efforts in asserting its sovereignty. The Foreign Affairs Department is meanwhile asserting the Philippine sovereign rights over the Ayungin Shoal following that water cannon attack, which it described as serious. In a statement, DFA stressed that the Ayungin Shoal is a low-tide elevation that is part of the Philippines' exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. The agency cited the 1982 UNCLOS as affirmed by the 2016 Arbitral Award at The Hague. The DFA adds that it shares the same concerns raised by the AFP and the PCG, both of which have earlier condemned the incident. The Foreign Affairs Department will hold a press conference later this afternoon to gather with key members of the National Task Force on the West Philippine Sea. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. A heavier Monday traffic greeted motorists traversing EDSA as road repairs continue. To give us an update on the situation, we have Dave Abuel reporting live from the MRT North Avenue Station in Quezon City. Dave, kamusta na ang lagay ng trapiko dyan sa EDSA?
Diego, nagdudulot na nga ng bahagyang pagbigat sa daloy ng trapiko itong isinasagawang road repair dito sa bus lane sa EDSA na tatagal pa hanggang Miyerkules. Nagpapatuloy ang isinasagawang one-time, big-time emergency road repair ng Department of Public Works and Highways at ng Metro Manila Development Authority dito sa mga kalsada ng bus lane sa EDSA. Noong Biyernes ng gabi, sinimulan niyang road reblocking at asphalt overlay sa mga nasirang kalsada nitong mga nagdaang mga bagyo at habagat sa Metro Manila. Pero di katulad ng mga kalimitang road reblockings na natatapos ng Lunes ng madaling araw, sa Miyerkules 9 ng Agosto pa ng madaling araw matatapos ang mga gawa. 16 na parte ng magkabilang direksyon ng EDSA bus lane yan. Karamihan dyan ay nasa Quezon City, habang ang ilan ay nasa bahagi ng Mandaluyong at Makati City. Ayon sa DPWH-NCR, 15 dyan ay natapos na. Sa mga parte na patuloy pa ang repair, kailangan munang pansamantalang lumabas sa lane ang mga bus at okupahin ang kalapit na lane. Inaasahan na magdudulot yan ng pagbagal sa takbo ng mga sakyan sa EDSA at mas magiging mahaba ang biyahe ng EDSA bus carousel. Nakahanda rin ang 72 bagon ng MRT sa mga commuters na mas pipiling sumakay ng MRT habang nagpapatuloy ang road repair. Naglabas naman ang MMDA ng mga alternatibong ruta para sa mga motoristang maapektuhan ng road repair. Patuloy din ang karagdagang deployment ng traffic enforcers sa EDSA para gabayan ang mga motorista at commuters na apektado ng repair. Diego, ayon sa DPWH-NCR, matatapos ang road repair sa itinakdang petsa at hindi na inaasahang pang may extend. Sa ngayon, green and go naman ang daloy ng trapiko dito sa EDSA southbound pagkalagpas yan ng North Avenue Station ng MRT. Meron mga enforcers dito na umaalalay sa mga bus na pansamantalang lumalabas sa bus lane. May bahagi pa kasi dito na sarado dahil kakatapos lang ng ginawang road reblocking. Diego.
Salamat, Dave. That was Dave Abuel reporting live from Quezon City. Another big-time increase in the prices of fuel products is expected this week. UniOil Philippines projects that prices of diesel would go up by 3 pesos and 90 centavos per liter. Gasoline products are likewise expected to become more expensive by as much as 40 centavos a liter. Oil companies will announce final price adjustments later today, which will take effect on Tuesday. This would be the 5th consecutive week of upward price movement for diesel and the 4th for gasoline. A transport group pushes for a temporary increase in fares amid elevated oil prices. The Alliance of Transport Operators and Drivers Association of the Philippines, o ALTODAP, says drivers should be allowed to hike fares if diesel prices climb by 7 pesos. The group says drivers would voluntarily bring down their fares should oil prices roll back. Transport Group Piston also recently called for a rush hour rate. This would entail higher fares during rush hour from 5 a.m. to 8 in the morning and 4 p.m. to 8 in the evening. The LTFRB is currently studying the proposal. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 11:15 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.